think we're ready to get started. Are you all ready? Good evening, everyone. Namaskaram, vanakkam to everyone, and welcome to the Great India Festival celebration of Samhita, the festival of togetherness in our diversity. We would like to begin tonight's program by inviting our 6 storytellers to the stage and asking them to light the traditional Indian lamp, diya or vilakku. Please welcome Elder David Finkle, Dr. Angel Baswali Wedhao, Mrs. Andre Juliette Villota-Rialpe, Mrs. Ayan Ahmadi, and Mrs. Nagin Hatam to the stage. TGIF, the Great India Festival, wishes to acknowledge that we are located in Ottawa on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose presence here reaches back to time immemorial. The Great India Festival recognizes the Algonquins as the customary keepers and defenders of the Ottawa River watershed and its tributaries. We honor their long history of welcoming many nations to this beautiful territory and uphold and uplift the voice and values of our host nation. Further, the Great India Festival respects and affirms the inherent and treaty rights of all indigenous peoples across this land. We have and will continue to honor the commitments to self-determination and sovereignty we have made to indigenous nations and peoples. We acknowledge the historical oppression of lands, cultures, and the original peoples in what we now know as Canada, and fervently believe that the sharing of our cultural traditions and arts contributes to the healing and decolonizing journey we all share together. We pay respect to all Indigenous peoples in this region from all nations across Canada who call Canada and Ottawa home. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old, and we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future. Today, before we start, I would like now to invite Dr. Angèle Bassolé-Ouedraoga. Please come. Today is National Multiculturalism Day. The Great India Festival wanted a way to celebrate the unity of Canada, represented by our diversity. The one tradition that links cultures all over the world is the art and tradition of storytelling. To this end, Samhita is a celebration of the tradition that unifies the wonderful diversity that is Canada. We are fortunate to have storytellers from around the globe with us today. In keeping with our land acknowledgement and our recognition of the First Nations peoples, it is my immense pleasure to invite Elder David Finkle to present our first story of the evening. We are very lucky that he is also here with his wife, Mrs. Laura Leonard, who is of Maliseet descent and is widely known both as a powerful hand drum singer versed in many Aboriginal songs, as well as a talented fashion designer. As a singer-drummer, her knowledge of traditional songs is extremely varied, and as such, she's often invited into schools to share her gift of song with the students, as well as to conduct workshops on beading and leather work. She utilizes ancient traditional motifs on particular materials in conjunction with contemporary infusion. Laura also holds a degree in Native Studies from Brandon University. Elder David Finkle has been called a Renaissance man. Doesn't he look it? Hailing from Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory in southern Ontario, he is an award-winning multi-instrumental recording artist versed in many musical genres. He's a sound engineer, a storyteller, a producer, drum maker, and has completed many scores for various theatrical productions. He works with youth, sharing Indigenous culture in schools and community centers, as well as live online to remote communities. David and Laura are staples of the powwow scene for many years now and are known for their fine quality of workmanship and deep knowledge of traditional motifs, as well as for their ability to integrate modern contemporary aspects into their work. Drums, rattles, beading, leather, fashion, and music are what they are known for. As traditional knowledge keepers, they are also known for facilitating all sorts of workshops, singing, drumming, history, storytelling, drum and rattle making, leather and beading in many different schools, boards, camps, and community centers. Please welcome David to the stage.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. I can't wait to tell you guys a story. You guys ready for a story? Yeah? All right, awesome. Stories weren't just stories. They weren't just something to do before we had TikTok or video games. Back in the day, yes, of course, you needed to amuse yourself some way if you had a successful hunt, and you didn't have to worry so much for a little while. What would you do? Or when the snow would come, and you didn't want to go out quite as much unless you really had to. This was the time of stories. So stories were more than just stories, though. Stories were nothing less than our formalized educational system. For us, there's pretty much 3 categories every single story you ever heard will fall into. One is the cautionary tale, you know? Now, does anybody out there have toddlers in the family? Yeah? Do they listen so well? Maybe not so much, right? Well, if you tell a toddler to do something, they're going to do the opposite thing. But if you sit that same toddler down and you say, I'd like to tell you a story about someone very much like yourself, they will identify with the character in that story, and based on how things work out, will decide of their own accord whether they want to emulate that kind of behavior or not. So this is the way that we taught. From the elders, teaching to the young. Where were the middles? Because we really look at things, there's only 3 ages that you can be, young, middle, and old. Middle is the time where you're the strongest. That's, you know, you can't expect a 4-year-old girl and a 99-year-old man to go and hunt a moose and drag it back to the village, right? That's for the middle, right? That's when you're strong. So when the middle people would be away working, it would be the older people and the younger people. So the older people would tell those stories very much the same way they learned when they were young, added with all the wisdom that they had attained throughout the course of their life. And from generation to generation, add several thousand years, and this is how we got our skill set. And that was like school. So when the old people would tell the stories, that was like the school bell going off. Class is in. And you know what your final exam was? Whether you survived or not. What if you weren't paying attention that day? The grandpa said, don't ever eat this mushroom, it'll kill you, you know? Oh, too bad, so sad you weren't paying attention that day. You failed your exam. But hey, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys a story. The reason I just wanted to give you that preamble is so that you know to watch for all the stories and the lessons that are hiding in the story that I'm going to tell you. So now I have to decide what story do I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you how eagle got its cry. This is a good one. All right. Many, many years ago, it was very quiet. The Creator had made the earth and looked around, was very pleased at the job that they had done. But they thought, we need music. It's too silent. What are we going to do? So the Creator thought, I'm going to give the birds songs to sing. That's what we'll do. Birds of the world, said the Creator. Meet me in the field. I have to talk to you about something important. So all the birds come and they land in the field. What are we doing here? I don't know. The Creator wants to talk to us. Birds of the world, said the Creator. I have decided to give you all songs to sing. This made them very, very happy indeed. But you're going to have to earn it, just like anything in life. We're going to have a healthy competition. When I say on your mark, get set, go, you will all take to the skies. The higher that you fly, the better the song will be that I give you. Make sure you try hard, because not only you, but all your descendants will be singing this same song. On your mark, get set, go. So all the birds took this to the skies. Well, guess what? Turkey? Turkey ate too much. He was, I don't know, he wasn't really feeling too athletic that day. He just jumped up and went right back down again. So he just kind of gobble, 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 gobble. Not much of a song, right? Chicken didn't do too much better with his buck, buck. Duck got up a little higher, quack, quack. You see the way this works? Well, when Eagle heard the rules of this game, Eagle thought to himself, yes, this is my day. Everybody knows I can fly higher than any other bird. In fact, it is scientifically proven that birds, out of all of them, it is the eagle that is the highest, right? So he's like, you may as well just give me first place right now, but whatever, we'll go through the motions. So up he flies, up he flies. One by one, all the birds are getting tired, and they have to turn around and glide back down towards the earth. And when they do that, they're given their song. One by one, raven has to turn around. Crow, blue jay, even brother hawk has to turn around. He's no match for eagle. So it should come as no surprise that before long, eagle looks around and realizes there's no competition left. Pretty much means he's won. So he goes to turn around, but then he thinks, you know what? I still have so much energy left. I don't want to be just a little bit better than everybody. I want to be so much better than everybody else. So up he went, continuing. So we talk a lot of times about sometimes how you play games with people, sometimes they can be poor sports, sore losers, you know. You can be sore winners too. So up goes Eagle, driven by this mad desire to be so much better than everybody else around him. He's just playing it back in his head. Oh, when I get back down, they're all going to hear my song. They're gonna wish they were me. They're just gonna cry tears of joy, and I'm just gonna be so amazing. So up he goes, and he gets 1 and 2 and 3 final swoops of his massive eagle wingspan. And he's like, oh, I got no more energy left. All right. At that point, he turns around and begins to glide back down to the earth, secure in the knowledge that he's going to be giving an amazing, amazing song. Except, just then, the tiny little bird, which we call a hermit thrush, that was hiding on his back the whole time. He could only fly a few inches up off the ground, jumps up, goes higher than him. All right? So that is why to this day, the hermit thrush, despite not being able to fly like mighty eagle, has the most beautiful song of the entire bird kingdom, and why the eagle, despite being able to fly higher than any other bird, was punished for his greed and was given the weakest song of the entire bird kingdom. So there's just an example of, do you like that story? I love that story. Now, raise your hand if you thought hermit thrush was cheating. Raise your hand if you thought he was just being smart. That's right. This is, you know what I tell kids when I tell this story? I say sometimes, you know, people are going to ask you to do things, and you're going to think to yourself, there's no way I can do that. Are you crazy? I'm going to give up. I'm not even going to bother trying. Hermit thrush didn't do that. Hermit thrush decided, I know that I'm differently abled than these other birds, but I also know there's no such thing as a problem without a solution. And he thought about it, he got crafty, and he won. So this is just another, you know, another example of the stories. Do we got time for one more short story? Or no? Yeah, okay. Here's a short one here. Someone said, yeah. I heard a young voice go, yeah. All right, this one's for you.
I think she has a question.
Oh, yes, questions are great.
How does the hermit crab get back down to the ground?
Hermit thrush. The hermit thrush, it's a bird.
Oh.
Yeah, hermit crabs, well, they fly even more terrible than the hermit thrush. They just kind of scurry you up, you know? All right. All right, here's another one about birds, actually. All right, oh, you know what? This is a very fitting story to tell, especially this week. You'll find out why. All right, many years ago, even before the two-leggeds were in the forest, that's us, most of us, there was just the animals, and they all spoke the same language. The leader was Bear. Bear was a good, strong leader. He knew how to outsmart the winter. He ate plants and meat, and he just had a very keen sense of smell, which was put to the test one day when he was having a nap on a hot summer day. It was that kind of summer that when you're walking through the forest, you can hear all the twigs and the branches snapping underneath your feet. There had not been rain in a long, long time. There was a lightning strike. Sure enough, there was smoke, and that's what woke him up from his nap. Realizing the danger involved in the forest fire, he got up on his hind legs and he roared at the top of his lungs. He says, "Animals, get down to the water's edge as fast as you can. There's a forest fire. You'll be safe on the edge of the water. The flames won't be able to cross the lake." Big stampede of animals, snakes slithering, birds flying, frogs hopping. They get down to the water's edge, and first they're relieved. But then that relief quickly turns to sorrow, and they turn around and they realize their forest is burning out of control. That's not just undeveloped land. That's their pharmacy. That's their temple. That's their condo. There it is, burning out of control. Just then they hear this strange sound. Zoom. Like, what is that? Zoom. They look, they see it's a hummingbird. Hummingbirds, are they big or are they just tiny?
Tiny.
You got it. This is so tiny. They said, what's he doing? They look. Hummingbird flies out over the lake. He takes his little needle beak, puts it down into the lake, sucks up as much water as he can carry. Now, how much water do you think a hummingbird can carry, being so small? One single drop. He flies over the fire. He drops that drop of water over the flames. Anybody want to guess what happened?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh, you're right. You're right. Very pragmatic of you. Usually there's some hopeful child that will say, it goes out. Well, it's like, this isn't a Disney story. It's not magic water. We're not going to sing a song about it. So yeah, what can one drop of water do to a forest fire? So he goes back, he grabs another drop of water, goes over the fire, drops it again. What happens? Well, when I'm telling this story to kids, it's around this time in the story I can like audibly hear their hearts breaking, you know? So back and forth he goes, the other animals are watching him and they're thinking to themselves, what is up with Hummingbird? Can't he see that it's not making a difference? What's the matter with this guy? I know, eh? What's the matter with Hummingbird? Yo, Hummingbird, what's the matter with you, man? He doesn't let it stop him. He keeps going back, drop after drop after drop. The other animals are emboldened now. It's okay to tease this guy, they think. So they start calling him names and teasing him, but he doesn't let it stop him. Drop after drop after drop. The fire's getting bigger, not smaller. Finally, Bear doesn't want to see his little buddy get teased anymore, even though he doesn't quite understand what's going on. So he says, gets up on his hind legs again and says, Hummingbird, stop. What are you doing? And Hummingbird stops just long enough to say, what I can. What I can. Fast forward to today. All you animals and me too. We're the animals in the forest. Forest is our world. What are the fires? Poverty, war, racism, disease, pollution. Some of us are working, like Hummingbird, but too many of us are gathered on the shore, not helping, and even making fun of the people that are trying. So when we grow up, you guys, what are we going to be? Are we going to be like those animals, or are we going to be like Hummingbird? I hope so. It's up to you to decide. All right, I think that's it for me.